Hello, my name's Gary Shotton, and I'm here as a part of Inspiring Better Business, and today we're going to talk about it didn't work out. You know, a lot of times when you hear somebody talk, all you hear is their successes, and of course you want to hear how things worked out, how things worked out at the last minute, and everything was good, and how faith worked. But you know, the reality to this whole thing is that it doesn't work out perfect every time. Well, if you watch very many of our lessons, you'll probably know by now that at one point in my life I started a moving and storage company using a horse trailer. And the horse trailer was pulled behind my car, and it's got its own story how that happened. I owned that for 17 years before I sold it. And I jokingly but truthfully say sometimes I guess I was a slow learner, because I was learning so many things in this moving and storage business about people, about the way you collect money, how to do accounting. I mean, there was so many things that I learned. It was my school of hard knocks. But reality was I had a plan to own mini storages. And this was back in the early 1990s, and truthfully known, when I first talked to a bank about mini storages, they didn't really know what a mini storage was. So I was ahead of the curve, and I think God was leading me in that. And I must tell you up front that I never owned a single mini storage, so it didn't work out. So I was driving on a main road in my hometown, and I felt the Lord leading me as I was thinking about mini storages, had my plans. I was looking for some land. I wasn't out looking for a land. I was just driving back from the airport along a main highway, and I really felt the Lord lead me, just a real subtle turn left and go down what's called 21st Street. And I go down 21st Street, and sure enough, there on a corner is a big empty lot, about 5 acres. And I look out there, and there's an older gentleman mowing the grass. He's on a big tractor, or a tractor with what's called a brush hog, and he's out there mowing it. And I pulled up, and he pulled up beside me, and you could have thought this was somebody that was hired to mow the grass with this tractor, but no. His first initials, I won't give his last name, was FL. And he went by FL, and by those initials. And he stopped the tractor, had his cowboy hat on, and pretty hot day, and he gets off his tractor and I asked him, do you know who owns this land? And he said, well, I do. And I said, well, would you be interested in selling this land? And he said, yeah. Well, now keep in mind, it wasn't 3 minutes, 5 minutes before that, the Spirit of God, I had felt that said turn left and go down there, and I pull in, and in 5 minutes, I'm talking to somebody that wants to sell land that would be perfect for a mini storage. And so I kind of get excited, but you know, I get to know this older gentleman, and basically we start down the deal. He says, sure, I'd love to put a mini storage here. In fact, I'll sell you the land, and I'll finance the land so that you can pay me after you get going. And man, this is a deal made in heaven. And so I proceed on with the plans, and I know what to do, and I think, and there's ordinances and construction permits, and I hire and commit to pay for an engineer to design the ability to get the utilities there. I pay for what's called a soil sample, so they can design the building structure correct for. I can contract and am committed to pay for other engineering fees related to building this mini storage, all on the belief that I'm building a mini storage because I went to the bank, and I had the bank, and they said, this sounds like a pretty good deal. And so they had a letter of intent telling me that they would loan me $877,000 on this mini storage project, because they knew that the land was, that if it failed, they could also take up the land. And so they had collateral there. I have the letter of commitment. I have everybody's working down the road, and all of a sudden, we have a problem. From the architect's design for the mini storage, he really misled the construction costs, because he made things a little more elaborate than they needed to be. Instead of the proposal being at $877,000, is like $1.1 million. Well, the bank didn't like that, and I wouldn't either. And so I proceeded to work with the architect and take some things out, things not necessary, and we got it down really close to that $877,000. But the bank got cold feet. They realized that Gary didn't have any risk at this because I was basically using Mr. FL's collateral for the land as the down payment for the $877,000 loan. And frankly, this was a little bit of a big loan for me at that point, was probably part of the problem. But the bank pulled out after I had made over $50,000 worth of commitments for, and work was done, soil sample engineering. Oh my goodness, and this did not come at a good time. And so I'm just telling you that I never built that mini storage. I never built a mini storage. I had so many plans and hopes and desires. I could see that if I was had a master plan for more than one mini storage. I had a master plan actually for a large number of mini storages. And I had a plan that was going to involve long-term storage, short-term storage, any way to move. I was call it, and secured the name Move Mart, just like Walmart or Drug Mart or Pet Mart, anything you want. It all hinged around this mini storage location, and that was my anchor spot. I had another spot picked out, and I had a third spot picked out, and I had already surveyed the possibility of going to other cities nearby, and I'm gonna knock it down. Didn't work out. Well, I wish I could tell you that it was all great, because I actually over the deal got sued on something. Something was misunderstanding with this architect, and I had to settle with him. Now my name's in the in the business section. It wasn't on the front page as just a lawsuit. It happens. It's not like the end of the world to get sued. It's a way of resolving a misunderstanding, and we resolved that over time. And I'll be honest with you, I was pretty heartbroken, and it really redirected my course because that didn't work out. Now I can see why in many ways, and I could go into it, but the truth of the matter was I had felt the Spirit of God lead me. I had some strong indications. I had worked down the path, but I probably was ahead of my game. And I do believe that I was not at that. What I teach now is grow slower and go step by step by step. And I was biting off way too much at once. And probably if I had secured that, and I can drive right by there right now. And after I got through, and they didn't pay me for any of this expenses because they had their own people do it, and they built a mini storage there. But I know enough about it that they had problems with that mini storage with the way they built it. So maybe God was leading me, but maybe God was protecting me. But at the end of the day, I didn't quit. I kept on going. And I'm telling you, when it doesn't work out, when it doesn't, you don't think, you're disappointed, you go in your quiet space and cry a little bit, just wipe the tears off, clean up, take a nice shower, stand in the shower and cry there if you want to. Don't let on. Continue to let God rule in your life, reign in your life, and it too shall pass. It will get better. Well, I hope you understand that I'm being honest with you here, and I want you to do well in your business. And if every single time it worked out, I would be surprised. Thanks for being a part of Inspiring Better Business.